He stepped into judgment with a throat full of ash. The crown still clung to bone. Ribs gleamed like knives. Dust curled in the air as if the dead were breathing. Jace's knees hit the black stone, and he tasted iron. He didn't look at the guards behind him. The city's rule of murmurs had no mercy. He had sung. He would die. Name? A skull asked, jaw clicking. Jace, he said, barely a breath. His voice sounded small in the vault. Like a moth on a window. Offense? I sang to my sister before she slept. He swallowed. It was her birthday. A ripple moved through the line of extinct kings. 40 empty faces. 40 crowns from eras he only knew from carvings and school slates. Once they had thundered wars. Now they were a choir of quiet. Do you know why the rule exists? Another skull asked. It wore broken sapphires. Why the city whispers? He had been taught the story since he could walk. Sound roused the hush, the white fog that ate names and memories. The bells were sealed. The drums were banned. Every laugh was clenched behind teeth. To keep us safe, Jace said. Safe, a skull mocked. Small. His heart beat faster. His palms burned on stone. He thought of Leo, hair like wheat, eyes still bright in a gray city. He had sung a simple song, a soft one. 3 notes. He couldn't help it. The melody was his mother's, and his mother was gone. Bones creaked. Crowns tilted. Jace dared a glance. The skulls were all different, some cracked, some gold-washed, one with a hole through the temple. At the end sat a skull without a crown, plain, yellow with age. It leaned forward like it could smell his fear. Someone will make this choice, the no-crown skull rasped. The choice to be louder than death. Jace blinked. A chill slid down his back. Speak, the sapphire skull said. His voice broke. He thought he should beg. He thought he should say he was sorry. But something stubborn rose inside him. He had lived quiet all his life. It had not saved his mother. It had not warmed the cold rooms. It had not stopped the hush from taking the rivers and the fields. He lifted his head. I sang because silence hurts. Bones shivered. The crowns rang, a faint glassy chime. The guards behind him shifted. Jace didn't turn, but he felt their spears aiming at his ribs. You think sound is defiance, said a king with ivory teeth. You know only half the law. What's the other half? Jace asked. His mouth was dry. Once this city was a bell, the no-crown skull said. It carried the names of its people to the sky. The sky answered. The hush fed on fear, not noise. The rulers chose quiet and lost themselves. Jace frowned. He had never heard that. In school, they said the kings died heroic and sealed the vault to protect the living. If that's true, why the rule? Because we were cowards, the skull with the hole said. Its jaw trembled. We feared the roar we could not control. Dust swirled. Jace felt the floor hum beneath his knees. It was faint, like a far drum beat. Like a heartbeat under stone, a guard's breath brushed his neck. End it, someone whispered. The no-crown skull tilted. The dim light caught a chip on its front tooth. A tiny wedge missing? Jace's stomach dropped. He had that same chip. He cracked his tooth falling from the old wall when he was 9. He pressed his tongue to his own chip now, numb with shock. He faced the last skull and finally understood. The slope of the brow, the narrow jaw, the chip. It was his skull, his future, ere left his chest. The kings were not just kings. They were endings, paths. Jace saw flashes in the dust, him in armor. Him with a scribe's ink, him as a farmer like his father had wanted. Lives closing like doors. Live louder, his own skull rasped. The words scraped like flint. Or you will end as we did, empty, crowned with fear. A horn sounded above. The vault shook. The guards cursed. Jace scrambled to his feet. The oldest forbidden sound rolled through the stone, metal on metal, a gate forced. Someone had opened the outer seal. The hush comes. A king hissed. The hush always comes, the no-crown skull countered. Will you meet it with breath, Jace? Or with chains? He thought of Leo. He saw her sleeping grin. He remembered the song. He remembered his father's hands shaking when the harvest failed. He remembered knives hung above burners so no child ever knocked them and clattered them by accident. He remembered the posters, never ring, never rhythm, never name out. Loud, Jay snatched the small circlet from the floor, the only uncrowned skull's offering. It wasn't metal. It was bone. His bones, light as truth. It fit his head like a question. Where? He said, the skulls all turned, slow as planets, toward the staircase, toward the tower that rose through the city like a spine. The bell of sky waited at the top, sealed since the first kings fell. The words burned on every school slate. Ring and the world ends, ringing ends a world, the sapphire skull whispered. Maybe not this one. The guards rushed. Jace bolted. The vault mouth yawned like a cave. He ran until his breath cut. Upstairs. Past carvings half-sanded to erase drums and dances. The city heard him. Heads turned. People gasped and hid their mouths. Is he mad? Someone hissed. He'll summon the fog. The fog was already moving down the far street like a pale tide. Leo stepped from a doorway, eyes wide. Jace! She saw the crown. She saw the guards. She saw the hush. Trust me, he said. He had never said those words out loud. Saying them felt like breaking glass and waking at once. He grabbed her hand and pulled her. Up into the tower's hollow spine where pigeons had built silent nests. The hush reached the square. It ate color. It ate sound. It ate the scream of a mother pleading her child to her chest. The world went cotton white and slow. JSCE found the rope. It was as thick as his arm and slick with age. He planted his feet. The bell of sky hung deep in the dark. He could not see it. He could feel it. It felt like the king's heartbeat. It felt like his own. Don't, a guard panted, blade raised. You'll kill us all. Jace looked at Leo. She nodded, tiny, brave. Sing if you do, she whispered. So I can find you. He swallowed. He took the rope. The last skull's voice filled him. He thought it was a curse. He realized it was a dare. He pulled. The bell's first breath shook the tower. The hush froze. The city bowed like wheat under wind. The sound crawled over his skin and under his ribs. It wasn't metal. It was names. Names bursting like sparks in the fog. Leo, he said louder. He said the names he knew. His street. His neighbors. His mother? He fed the bell his life. Then something woke inside the sound and answered back. Not the hush, something. Older. Something that remembered their names. The tower beams groaned. The rope burned his palms. Leo grabbed his waist. The guard lowered his blade, tears bright on his face. More people climbed, hands on the rope. For a breath, the city held together, then the bell's voice changed. It sharpened. It became a cry like stormbreak. A second sound rose behind it, rising fast, a roar at the edge of the sky like wings unfolding above the clouds. Jace looked up. The dark split as if something huge were turning its head. He dragged again, throat raw, heart open. He did not know if he was saving the world, or ending the wrong one. The rope jumped. A shadow, no. A shape slid through the torn cloud. It knew his name. Crave the next strike? Hit follow so you don't miss part 2.